We're continuing on Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim Hilchot Shabbat, Siman Shin Aleph. We're up to Seif Mem and Daf Pei Dalet Amud Aleph of the regular prints of your Mishna Beruras, and this is a very interesting one. Black hatters. Is it mutar to wear a black hat on Shabbat? You say, why would it be a problem? Well, for starters, it's an ohel. We have spent so much time discussing that when you have one tefach of oil, that's already the minimum amount of oil. So if you have a hat with a brim, and nowadays it's like every few decades these things change. What's in, what's not. And now there's more narrow ones, but a few years ago, a regular hat that you bought, you had a nice tefach of a brim, and now there's also many of the Hasidic circles. Their hats are certainly one tefach wide, sticking out as a brim. So what is the heter for that? Kova, says Maran, shehu mitpashed da'alan mirosho tefach. That it spreads, the brim spreads away from the head, a tefach, asur lahanicho berosho afilu bebayit. Forget about carrying it outside. You can't even wear it at home, says Maran of Shulchan Aruch. Mishum oil, because of course that would create an oil. It's an oil arai, therefore it would be asur. Just like umbrellas, you cannot open, and even if the umbrella is open, you cannot hold it again, up above your head. Here also would be like a miniature umbrella type of thing, right? It would be the same problem. So now, obviously, that's a very explosive piece of information, because we all obviously know that we wear hats. So what exactly is the the solution? What's the reason that it is not considered asur? To which the Mishna Berura already discusses this topic on when it's asur and when it's not. Davka kashaya safa shehotzia kasha biyoter, says Mishna Berura. This is only when the brim is extremely hard and not bendable. Ve'eno nichfaf, it does not bend. Ve'az chashuv k'moel, that's considered an oil. If it's not that hard, it's like your garment. People wear this like sun hats that they wear, it comes down. That's like a hat. You're wearing a hat. It's a garment that you're wearing. So it's not considered an oil. If something is derech malbush, if something is an item, an article of clothing, then it's not considered oil. This is the way my clothing is. Now, what makes it not an article of clothing, even though that you wear it, is if the brim is extremely hard. It's not bendable. It's not soft like begadim that you wear. Now, coats are thicker, obviously, but at the end of the day, if it's soft, it's considered a piece of garment. It's an article of clothing. It will be mutar. If it's kashe biyoter, if it's really hard and stiff, then it will be a problem. We will see in Seif Mem Aleph, the matir kshu mudar al rosho. We'll see that there are heterim for it that's brought in the Shulchan Aruch as well, and that is obviously talking about something that's not as hard, as soft and bendable. Now, oil below the fanot, even though that normally speaking, an oil is not without walls. A tent has walls coming down. Here, you don't necessarily need that. Mikol bakom, chashiv oil arai is considered an oil arai. This is again discussed later on in this the discussions of oil is later on in the Shulchan Aruch, but nevertheless, the encapsulated gist of what comes out of Hilchot oil is that if you don't have walls, you just have the ceiling, still would be considered oil arai, which is asur midrabanan. So that would definitely be an issue over here. Midrabanan, kevan shena'asa hasafa liot l'ser la'agen mipnei hashemesh, because the brim is there to protect you from the sun. Right? Like you're walking and you want to have a shade on your face, that your eyes should not be damaged, your skin should not be damaged, and therefore it will be considered an oil. V'kovash korin britlich b'lashon Ashkenaz afal pi shemitpashet ha'alan merosho berochvo tefach v'noagim bo lakel. Even though that he has a width of a tefach, still the minhag is to be mekel. Katvu acharonim kama stadim betam heteram. The poskim already spoke about this, what exactly the heter is. One is one is because it's soft, it bends downward. It's like the black hats that they have nowadays. There's no problem with it. It's not when it's not really hard. It says nowadays we don't necessarily even have a kavanah to create shade with it. It has become a kisui rosh. It has become a dress code of people. It's not necessarily because of shade. You would put sunscreen nowadays. You don't necessarily need that. People wear it. They're not thinking, oh, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to have shade on my face. They're going to wear it because it's a dress code of tefillah. It's a dress code of a yeshiva man. Also, if the brims are made slanted, that also is another leniency not to consider an ohel, as it's discussed over there. Or if he's afilu, he says even with kapelush, these are the European names of the different hats that they had. Shu kashe, that is harder. The material is stiff. And he also is a tefach wide. Even that, says the Chafetz Chaim, if you go to a place that people are accustomed to be mekel, you don't have to stop them from that. They have what to rely on. But says the Mishna Berura, if you don't have a clear minhag to be mekel, a person should be machmir by that. But those hats that are stiff and hard, that you should be more machmir. Kitat Shulchan Aruch, which is Rabbi Haranel, Rambam, Sefer Aruch, Rabbi Rutam, Rabbi Magid. Many of the Rishonim hold like that. So therefore, a person should be careful. Shelo lilbos b'Shabbat kapelush rachav kazeh. Should not be wearing a hat like that. V'gam b'kitvei Ari oser b'kapelush. Ari HaKadosh also in his Ktavim writes that those hard brims that are a tefach white would be asur, and it says the Mishna Berura, for this same reason, many people are careful not to wear their talit over their hat. When they're wearing a hat, right? Don't put the talit shel mitzvah over the hat, because then you're creating the walls for this oil, and it will become a bigger problem. Maybe as it may, that's something that is kedai to know what the heter of the hats nowadays are, and perhaps some of the hats, again, in some of the Hasidic circles, they have hats that are much harder brims. That if it's usually, again, because of this consideration, those hats don't have a brim of a tefach. It's a slightly less than a tefach, but if it is wider than a tefach, that's something that a person should be mindful of, and at least ask a question before they get one. That would be the hat controversy, so to speak, when it comes to Hilchot Oil, Hilchot Shabbat. Bezrat Hashem will continue this in the days to come.